we're back. Another beer review. Right now we're checking out some PBR. This is old school. Pabst Blue Ribbon. That is right. That is the unmistakable logo right there. Pabst Blue Ribbon, yes. Established in Milwaukee since 1844. I also have an old Milwaukee, which I'll be reviewing soon too. And when I first got this, I went back and forth all night between Old Milwaukee and Pabst. So I have a really good understanding of those two back to back, directly compared to each other. And I'll talk about more about that in probably the other review. But anyway, this comes in at 4.74% ABV, which is an odd number. 4.74, but that's what it is. This is also very cheap. It's not the cheapest beer, but I think the 12 pack of this was $7.99. Busch Light's cheaper than that. If you want to drink piss water, in here for me. But anyway, it's funny because I know someone who I care quite a lot about who drinks that. But anyway, moving on. Pabst Blue Ribbon, yes. This cracked me up when I saw this on the label here. It says this is the original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Okay, nature's choicest products provide its prized flavor. Only the finest of hops and grains are used. All right. Now here's the one-liner, and this again just blows my mind because this is their selling point. This is their pitch to the buying public. Okay, it's right on every can. Selected as America's best in 1893. That's right. So their claim to fame is this was the best tasting beer over 100 years ago. So I don't know why that cracks me up so much. It's like getting a beer and it says, you know, one best in show 97. Who cares? But anyway, let's crack her open and give it a fair shot here. So, still rocking the little mug, but I did wash it out since the last one. As to not get any cross-contamination, God forbid. This is another American lager. I think it's actually considered an American adjacent lager, which is basically just a macro brew version of a lager. All right, this one is super pale. A little bit more carbonation than some of the other cheaper beers. All right, so you get a little bit more of a head on there. But yeah, super pale yellow. It's barely yellow. It's more of a dirty clear. But anyway, the smell, a little bit different. You have that, again, generic beer stink to it, but it's a little bit stronger in the smell than some of the other cheaper beers. To me anyway. And this has, what sets Pabst apart from some of the other cheap beers to me is it's got a little bit of malt. Now, this is not the first time I've had this before, so it's more in the flavor than it is the nose, but you definitely pick it up just a little bit. Really stick your schnoz in the glass, you can pick that up. But mostly just a lot of grains and maybe just a little bit of hops, a little bit of barley. Again, just mostly generic though. So, on to the taste. This is not as it doesn't taste as light of a beer than most of the other, you know, mass-produced beers. Believe it or not, it has a little bit more flavor than some of them out there, but it's not necessarily a fantastic flavor. It's you know, it's just a little stronger. But yeah, the little bit of malt I do like a lot in this. Again, I want to kind of save it to the other one, but I do like Old Milwaukee better than PBR. I think it's pretty much the same thing going for it, but bolder. I think it's a bolder flavor. This is definitely, to me, this is almost like Old Milwaukee watered down, if that makes sense. If you've ever experienced that particular beer, it's a good explanation of it. But it has, I don't know, it has a little bit of just the tiniest touch of maltiness to it. This, what this doesn't have, which is kind of important, and I think why some people like this, is it lacks that weird metallic flavor that you get with some of the cheap beers. So that's a good thing. The bad thing about this is that it just tastes very generic, extremely generic. There's nothing special about it besides not being metallic and besides having just that little bit of malt. It's a cheap beer, and you get what you pay for, like anything else. If I had to compare this to something else in the market, it's like getting a store brand cereal compared to the name brand cereal. Now, oftentimes, it's the same cereal with a different label on the box. But you can tell the difference between cheap cereal and expensive cereal. It's kind of the same flavor, but it's just lacking. And that's what this is compared to other beers, other expressions of the same style of beer. It's like it's almost there, but it's not strong enough. The flavor is not strong enough. But again, cheap beers have a purpose, and when you have a PBR that's ice cold, it's refreshing because it is a light. It's not the lightest beer, but it's a lighter beer in general, and it does have a refreshing quality to it. Of course, the more you have it, the more refreshing it is. But yeah, just nothing really stands out as being particularly good or not. A lot of the cheaper beers, it's almost like a humorous cult following. Like I drink PBR. Oh no way. Just like when I was growing up, Natty Ice was like the funny thing to drink. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's super cheap. Like you must just be some kid who, doesn't have any money. and Natty Ice, I mean, obviously the ice versions of beers are more alcoholic. You have light versions, then you have the standard version, then you have ice. Bud Light, Bud Ice, Coors Light, whatever. It just, most companies do that, the macro breweries. And the ice version is just that. If you didn't know, anything ice is the original flavor, but a little more alcohol content. It's usually not that much different, but anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, but like natural ice, when I was a kid, my best friend, Chris Earl, that's what he drank because it was the cheapest thing to get at the liquor store, whoever was buying for him. And not only that, but obviously he wasn't allowed to have it, so he drank it warm because it was hidden underneath the couch. So imagine that. It's just nasty ass shit. Cheers to Chris for enduring all that pain. I don't know. It's nothing special. If I had to come up with a positive reason why to pick this one over something else, besides the fact it's cheap, because it's not the cheapest. There is much cheaper beer than this. And believe it or not, Pabst Blue Ribbon is kind of known to be a really cheap beer, but it's not the cheapest beer. The only thing the attribute that stands out with this one, and again, it's very slight, but it doesn't taste as light of a beer. It seems a little bit more substantial. In other words, you can kind of get full off of this a little bit more than a lot of the other cheap beers. Excuse me, if that makes any sense. But besides that, eh. That's it for this one. PBR. They're good. America's Best in 1893. Not since 1893. It's right here. I mean, I can get it if it says best beer since, and then the date doesn't really matter because it implies that it's still the best beer. But the fact that they word it like this, selected as America's Best in 1893, so what? I don't know. That's maybe I have a weird sense of humor, but that's hilarious to me. Those are things that make me chuckle. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoy your weekend. As if I remembered, I posted this on a Friday. So, safe travels if you're going anywhere. Drink responsibly, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Take care.